All right.
All right, let's do it. Yo, it is another edition of the High Hopes podcast presented by Miller Lite. Tastes like Miller Time Philadelphia. Celebrate responsibly. Suck it, Mets. Suck it. Suck it. Thank goodness, Jack. Full disclosure, inside baseball, I texted Jack right when the first pitch was happening, and I was like, it's nice to have a stress-free Phillies game because we know we're recording today. There's no way they win. They never do. They walked it off, buddy. How about it? Like a quick one, a tight one, 0-0 for almost 8, and then, it feels like it's falling apart. And then yet again, this team just comes through and, essentially clinches the division for all, we know the numbers and the stories, but they're in pretty damn good shape to win the NL East, man.
They sure
that was
are.
huge.
They sure are. And then, I mean, it's as simple as this. Like, if you want to look on the negative side, it's like, well, they struggled to score runs today and whatever. On the positive side, like, they just continue to find little ways to win ball games. And
Cal Stevenson,
Cal Stevenson, Buddy Kennedy, like all these guys, just stepping up in the right spots. So, like, I'm really happy that for all intents and purposes, outside of like an all-time collapse, they did a job this weekend. They did a job. Coming back yesterday, down 4-0. Like I at least mocked them for their resiliency when they were really going through it. But I think the last 2 weeks, you're really starting to see it. You're really starting to see the toughness that this team has shown and talked about. And it's been massive. Chris Sanchez was brilliant today. I mean, brilliant.
Awesome.
Brilliant. So it was a big win. JT comes through, and, it's fun looking at the lineup and wondering which random player is going to step up and do something tonight.
Dude, totally. And to your point, look, the 4-run comeback yesterday. They had the game against Toronto, the biggest comeback of the season, whatever it was, down 6-1, then 8-4, and all that stuff. Like they're just having those type of wins that we didn't see earlier this season. And look, we love our bits and we'll not talk about stuff, but we talked about random players coming through. How about the fact the reason they won yesterday's game is because Bryce Harper hit 2 freaking home runs, and thank God, like the first one opposite field, love to see it, kind of just gets out. But the second one was like a Bryce Harper pull shot, it was, and I think that fueled him yesterday. When he hit that first one, 4-1, it's like, oh, it's only 4-1, but it was like, oh, like that's something. And then when he did it again, it was like, I believed they were going to come back. I believed they were going to win. And I believe they were today too. When they went down 1-0 in the 8th, I was like, they're all right. I feel good about this team. I believe in them. And to your point, it's nice to have that feeling back, because that's a feeling we had early in the season. It's a feeling we've had in the past years, certainly in the rounds of the postseason. But it's just nice to feel that way about this team again. And to your point, on top of that, like these people stepping up. I mean, Wes Wilson, big hit to start that rally off and get that double. And guys, look, I don't think Cal Stevenson or Buddy Kennedy is going to contribute in the playoffs, but they're earning their ring if the Phillies can pull it off right now. And guys like Wilson and Cody Clemens and these guys we've seen are potentially and likely, certainly some of them, going to have to contribute in the playoffs. So it's great to see them getting these moments, these spots, these reps. Wes Wilson coming up in the 8th, down 1-0 in that spot. Like, that's a rep. That's like an important experience for someone who doesn't have that many of those reps. So it was a great, and again, the Mets are the hottest team in baseball coming in, all that. Like, it was awesome. It was really nice to see, dude.
Just a little bit. We're monitoring the situation, but
like Bob Dylan.
Just like we're monitoring the Bob Dylan situation.
I had many people react to you monitoring the Bob Dylan situation.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
which I should have mentioned. I saw Bob Dylan 23 years ago. So as if I couldn't feel older.
Well, I mean, you were in your 20s.
He was awesome, dude. It was he played 7 encores. He kept leaving and coming back, leaving and coming back. It was great.
Again, we are monitoring the Bob Dylan situation. So
cheers to Bob Dylan.
But the other thing that we are monitoring, as I regain my train of thought,
nice. I threw you off. That was on me.
Is that Phil's magic? The Phil's magic of because I think the first 2.5 months is this is a special season. We're watching an all-time Phillies team. We're watching a great Phillies team, maybe one of the best teams in the history of baseball, and that went away. And the biggest thing that worried me was, are they going to be able to recapture the magic? Because, teams that win World Series generally have that kind of magic feel to them. And the Mets, to their credit, they've had that magic feel for a little bit now. And the Phillies had not. But the last 2 weeks, the Cal Stevenson thing, the Buddy Kennedy thing, these random players just stepping up and doing their thing.
The Buddy Kennedy last time, too, the walk in that spot. So many kids want to come up and do something to patience to get a walk, which ultimately led to the game winner. They've had a lot of that, man. And that happens in, to your point, special seasons. You get that stuff. You remember that stuff.
So, you look at their last couple series, obviously the split in Miami, whatever, they're starting to rack up.
It's the outlier. If those 2 games in Miami, winning the first 2 and almost kicking your feet up, they feel like the outlier. And the weird Mets game where they just kind of didn't show up, it almost feels like if they show up to play, they usually win right now.
Well, there's something weird. All right, so I had to look it up because
the off day thing, right, dude? Them playing after an off day, I feel like they've been horrible.
Yes, well, that's what I was getting to.
Yes.
They are 1-5 in the second half off of an off day. So the people that are I was actually talking to people today. There's a big restaurant festival here in Westchester.
Talking to people, I like that.
And they're like, wouldn't hate to see them get the wild card. And I'm like, at this point, they can't. We're not doing that. That's an all-time collapse if that happens. So, and
again, the Diamondbacks, I don't want to play the Diamondbacks till I have to play the Diamondbacks. That's my only thought heading into the playoffs. Honestly, there's no other team I really care about. I want to beat the Diamondbacks, but I would like to wait until the NLCS to do it. The
detractors will say, that you don't want to have the off day so that they can stay hot. But it is one thing where it's they've just been bad off days. There's been many times where they just haven't shown up, so that gives you cause for pause heading into game 1. The nice part would be Zach Wheeler would be on the mound, so I think that would ease some of the fears about the off day blues. But it's definitely something to look at.
Great point, Jack. No one's talked about that. We've talked so much about do you want the off day and all this? And look, I think there's mixed stuff. Again, the Astros beat us in the World Series and they were the 1 seed. They won 106 games that year and they barreled through the playoffs and beat us. It goes both ways. But I think the Wheeler thing is a really good thing to bring up, Jack. That does feel like no matter what, even if the bats are a little, rusty to start or the guys are not fully locked in, as long as you got Wheeler starting, that's huge. That's a really good point, Jack.
Win a game 2-1. Win a game 2-1. Yep. You take all that stuff. So there's obviously a lot of games that are currently idle. I keep looking. Milwaukee doesn't play yet.
Right now, yeah. And the Dodgers, obviously.
The Dodgers don't play till 7, so we won't have an update. But right now, I think they're 2.5 games clear. 2.5 games clear.
Which means 3.5. They hold the tiebreaker on the Dodgers. We can't forget that. That matters. Every time you look at it, coming into today, they were 2 up on the Dodgers. It's oh, that's 3. That's big.
This is gonna sound dumb, but I kind of don't want the 1 seed. I kind of could definitely live with the 2 seed. I'm perfectly fine now. The 1 seed secures that this is a great Phillies team. World Series notwithstanding, them getting the 1 seed in a year with the Dodgers and whatever, that really, it shows that they're not just kind of a fluky team. But there's something that worries me about having the highest seed and then trying to win a World Series.
I get it, but also as our good friend Elliot Shore Parks has pointed out, this team does have a bit of a front runner swag to them at times. Maybe being the 1 seed is just the thing. Be the big dogs. Go in as the big dogs. And I think ultimately, even though, I think that if we had not been broken last year in game 6 and game 7 at Citizens Bank Park, like it's one thing to, the game 4 and 5, and obviously the way they played out against Houston, and to lose the Magic at Citizens Bank Park. Again, that was a 106 win, like legitimately, arguably all-time great baseball team, certainly era great, one of the great teams of the era. You look at how hard it is, to the point you made earlier, to like maintain a 105+ win pace of any kind and actually win the World Series. Like there aren't that many teams that do it. I mean, the 2018 Red Sox out of nowhere did it, like that Houston team, but there, you go back to the Yankees obviously did it, but like, the Mariners, we always talk about that one that won the most, they couldn't get it done. So it's hard to maintain like that. So,
do you come up with beat the hammer questions every week? Is that how you rip that off the top of your head? Is that why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. I know. I also, to be fair, I had a conversation about this with Emily recently, and I looked up a few of them just to get a feel. There have been some other ones. There was
Are these one-sided conversations with Emily, or is she engaged?
She just listens to me. Okay. No, she does, but it's good because it's funny, because she could talk sports with anybody, and it's because she has to listen to this. So there's an offshoot of it.
Oh, that's interesting. Jill just shuts down. Jill's just
Emily No. It's very funny because, especially for people who don't know or whatever, just in a random setting, she'll say something about sports in a conversation, and dudes will be like, "How was that?" It's funny. So,
well, what I do appreciate about Jill, of the many things that I appreciate about Jill, is that I think she has a really good, and I don't know, you can be the judge of this. All right, you can be the judge of this.
I love this,
but I think she has a pretty high fraud meter.
100%. I mean, she's been with you since you guys were children. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Honestly, I think she is better at it than you are. And you got a good fraud meter for, whatever. You're pretty good at reading frauds. I can think of a couple examples in our long friendship and knowing each other, which, by the way, we've known each other for 12, 13 years now, which is
so funny,
insane. It's almost half your life.
9 years. It's 9 years. We met in 2015.
Wait, didn't you intern in 2013?
2015. It was Hamill's last year.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you interned in 2013. Okay.
No.
Either way.
15.
Okay, still 9 years. Long time. Almost 10 years. But in that, you are, I can think of especially a prominent example where you were just locked in. You knew it. You're like, fraud. And I was like, I don't think so. And I was wrong. So Emily's good at that too. She's a great fraud meter.
You're surrounded by people who have great fraud meters.
I can't get away with anything. But yeah, I think just being around Jill many times over the almost decade we've known each other, I think she's absolutely better at it than you are. And you're good at it. Mm-hmm. So
yeah. Well, yeah. But it's just funny. It's someone will try to talk Phil's and she'll
be like, nope.
When we get home, she'll be like, yeah. It's I know, yeah. But it's all good. It's all good.
So I ultimately bringing it back around though. I do think the point being that even though Game 6 and Game 7 last year went the way they did, I do still think Citizens Bank Park is an advantage for this team. You do want every extra home game you can. You do want to even though it's just, I feel like we lost a Game 7 there, and it's we're we can't even want it here. Let's just have Game 7. I don't think it's like that. I do think that it's still an advantage. So I still think the 1 seed is the right move.
Dude, so I have to look it up. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure. So Fransky put this stat out maybe a week ago, and I don't know what it is since. But in night games at CBP, I think that their winning percentage is over 700.
Wow!
It's them at home at CBP is a different animal. But one thing I do want. At
night, you mean? You said at home at CBP.
At home at night at CBP. Yes. I guess I didn't need to add the.
At night at CBP. Yes. You're good.
Congrats. All right, there we go. Big old swing and a miss.
I knew what you were going for.
So, one thing that I want to point out, and I think that maybe more so than you, get thrown into just being a homer.
Oh yeah, I would say that is absolutely the case. Yeah.
And so I just want to point out that I'm just proud that we've seen them dig themselves out of it because they were going through it. Like, it was a long 2 months. And you and I, hand up, we put on blinders for a good month and a half.
Totally, dude. Totally.
Of it, like, it's whatever. It's baseball. It's baseball. It's baseball.
I was pulling excuses out of, like, I was like, oh, there's another one. Look at this. I got it. Let me, like, it was.
Found one. I found one. There it is.
We talked about having to go to London yet? Oh, the Mets are playing good. Damn.
I know.
Okay, let me get back to that. Hold on. I'll get there. Yeah.
I know. But I'm really proud that they pulled themselves out of it. Is this going to end in a World Series? I have no idea. But, like, the toughness of this team and not just, getting down on themselves and the woe is me. Like, we mock sometimes, I think, a little bit too much, but we mock team culture. I mean, you're seeing
not this guy, buddy.
You're a cultureman. Yeah. You're a cultureman.
Big time, dude.
But people
like any walk of life. I feel like if you work in a freaking accounting firm, like if everyone likes each other and everyone works hard, and you like know that the person next to you can like handle it if you give them something to do, like it just is like everyone's happier, everyone works better. I'm big time. Culture beats scheme every time. Chip.
That's exactly what our guy said. The good old days, man. Isn't it funny that quote's like 11 years old?
He was a great quotesman, Chip Kelly. Like whatever else the issues, like he had some great lines. Like big people beat up little people. We're from Philadelphia, we fight. Like he had some bangers.
Yeah, I mean, no one better. But I think that they deserve a lot of credit for not just cowering and giving. I agree. And there's a lot of Eagles comparisons during the show.
How many times was like, this is my least favorite thing ever, I hate it, and then I kept being like no, and then at a certain point I was like, fine, you can say it, but I still hate it. This sucks that I can even like acknowledge it. Thank God. That's like my God, like if people are counting down, it's like, by the way, it could end up that the 7 was 70 to play against the Mets, right? It's like, just shut up, stop it. Yeah, so this might be the biggest 2 of 3 for me all year. Like just like especially putting yourselves in the whole Friday night like they did, and just to the off day thing or whatever it is, just not showing up and getting bludgeoned, like to bounce back, especially when you consider like those 3 runs, the Marsh homer, nice to see him at homer, like meaningless. Essentially, the 11-0 and then 4-0. It's like, it's that kind of weekend. Like you're right. Like I think like they deserve credit for battling out of the hole they were in, and now battling in games like they did. Resiliency across the board. It's huge for the playoffs. It's so huge.
Well, 11. Listen, I'm not counting the Marsh home run, but 11-0 into being down 4-0, and then
that's my point, right? Like that. Like that's 15 unanswered as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. So, and I've been waiting with bated breath for the where's the classic Mets. And like I felt a little bit of that with the 4-0 comeback. Now Friday is also, there's real concern there. I mean, Nola got hit around, which is a shame because he was dominant for a majority of that game. Like just dominant.
Especially early. He had like 5 or 6 strikeouts in the first like 3 innings. He looked like nasty at first too. Yeah.
So that gives me hope. And then there's
it was the homer for what it's worth, especially the first one. Like yeah, it's on him, but it was like a foul pole, like weak sauce. I know.
It's more about the next
It is what it is, yeah. And also the fact that somehow, again, I didn't even notice that he's like leading the NL in home runs again. It's like, how'd that happen? Like,
and home runs allowed, Nola?
Allowed. No, you didn't know that? Yeah, I didn't realize that. Somehow he's giving up 28 homers.
Dude.
I don't know how the hell that happened.
Him, I swear to God.
At least he led it after his start. I don't know if someone the last couple of days gave up some, you know what I mean? He's up there.
Him and Garrett Cole are the same pitcher. Like
except Garrett Cole's a higher end version.
I agree, but I think there's a part of
Garrett Cole's him who could throw 98, or whatever. Yeah.
But I think that I think there's a part of Yankees fans that don't trust Garrett Cole. Like,
I get that. Yeah, I think it's fair.
Well, and I think that's what
I think there's a huge part of us as Phillies fans who will, no matter what, like I actually trust him going to the playoffs. Like he should be the number 2, like all stuff. But like I also trust him while knowing that any game he could stink. Like it's so weird. And we know he's got less margin for error than like Wheeler. If Wheeler could be, not locating as well, he's still got freaking, 97 with zip to lean back on,
I just wish, and it's probably not going to happen for 172 million reasons, but I just wish.
Hundreds of, no.
I just
I'm
wish
kidding.
I wish Sanchez was starting game 2. I really do.
Dude, I'm with you, man. Again, Vic Fangio. Take the Vic Fangio cue. I don't care how much we paid for you. If you're good, you're playing. Meritocracy. Sanchez, real quick, let's get to him because, to your point, you're taking the next step. It's going to be, I think, still a conversation on, sports radio pods, whatever. It's like, should it be him or Ranger if Ranger can reestablish? Like, it shouldn't be. Like, I love Ranger and I trust Ranger with the cold-bloodedness and all that, but like Chris Sanchez is just flat out better pitch. He's stuff-wise. He's so much to the point about like Sanchez can be off a little bit and still have the stuff to fall back on. Like Sanchez is nasty, dude. Chris
Sanchez is the closest thing. I want to get ahead of myself.
You going Cliff Lee here?
He's the closest thing to Cliff Lee and Cole Hamels that we've had in a long time.
He really is. I
mean, he is remarkable. He's
taller than both. He's huge.
He for some reason, I feel like Chris Sanchez still gets talked about like he's not obviously their third best starter, and like I think their second best starter. But like,
I don't think like forgetting who should start in the playoffs order. I don't think there's any question he has been their second best starter this year. He just has. He's
just a really freaking good pitcher. The guy is a stud, man. Yep. It's 97. He traditionally has waited to whip out the slider until later in the start to give hitters a different look. He was throwing in the first today. Like, I mean, the fastball coupled with the changeup, coupled with having command, like Chris Sanchez
and the super long arms and the like late release. Like we was like, oh, Bailey Falter can succeed because he releases the ball so late. 92 looks like 97. Christopher Sanchez releases the ball late, but it's 97, dude.
Chris Sanchez is he's just a damn good pitcher.
I love him. And the contract, like finally, we got our Braves contract. Thank God. We finally got one. Like, thank you. It's awesome.
And I know they're
Curtis Mead. We're happy. We're good. He can turn into whatever he wants. Like it's all good.
But if they're up 1-0 with a chance to go up 2-0 in the series, I just don't know how you don't give the ball to Chris Sanchez, especially at home.
Especially at home. The thing is that's the most compelling part. What are the numbers? I know it's massive. Do you actually? Well, so
it was 2.1. It was 2.1 heading into today, and he went 7 innings, 1 run,
and he's like 4-ish on the road or something like that.
Yeah, it was 7 because he pitched in the 8th, let alone run and a hit.
Yeah. So
7
he's
innings,
4-ish on the road, like somewhere around 4 or something like that. Right?
Something like that. Yeah, but it's 2 or under at home. Like it's just there's something there. He's got confidence there, and like it's not even super anti-Nola. Like I'm not trying to be anti-Nola because I actually do trust him in the playoffs. Oddly,
yeah.
But like I have confidence that he can go on the road and do the same thing he can do at home. That's the thing. It's like I think you can get the same Aaron Nola at home versus on the road. I don't think there's a big difference. But if you have a guy,
arguably, real quick to the team you're playing, like if it's a warmer place like Arizona or something, you might want Nola pitching in a warmer place or whatever. I guess Arizona could have the roof up or not, but you know what I mean,
dude. I'm like, I don't know if I've ever been more excited / nervous heading into the playoffs. Like
I know,
and I think a lot of it has to do with the quality of opponent. Like. They could, again, we talked about last podcast. I think all 6 could make the World Series.
The whole level of competition this year, as opposed to last year, is just like ratcheted up. It's like a whole tier above. Like the 6th worst team is as good as the 2nd best team last year. In terms of ability and team and like how they're playing. Again, like the Diamondbacks are terrifying. They actually, I think now after this weekend, have the best record since London. They passed the Mets. They've been insane. Like, And the Padres, like, I'm not scared of the Padres. I just can't get there. But we've talked about that bullpen in series. You go down a couple runs, like, and they got Cease and they got, Musgrove and they got like, I don't know. I'm with you. I trust the Phillies above these other teams. And I don't think that I look at any team and go, oh no, but I certainly think they could lose to any of these teams for sure.
Yeah. And that's just the reality of it all. Like, I don't think it's going to, like, outside of being
like they weren't losing the Marlins last year. They weren't losing. They were not losing that series, no matter what.
Outside of being up like 3-1 or 3-2 and then collapsing, like I don't think it's gonna be hard for me to look at a series this year and be like that's a detrimental loss. You know what I mean? Like
no, I get that too. Yeah.
So we'll see, but either way, like I just They won't do it. I don't think they will. But there's going to be a long conversation on WIP and on this podcast about Chris Sanchez being the number 2 starter. And I don't know. He's just phenomenal. And Nola. So there was some videos going around about him tipping pitches.
Tipping pitches. Yeah, I saw that. I was going to ask
And I mean, I hope that's the case. It's a pretty easy fix if it is the case. And I'm sure.
How funny is it to be like, oh, I hope it is that, when it's something like that? It's like such an antithetical thing to think, but you're like, oh, I hope it is something that you can. It seems bad, but it's actually easy to fix as opposed to like the other options.
I think I love everything about baseball, like almost everything about baseball. I think that the idea of a pitcher tipping pitches is maybe my favorite. Like it's such a chess match.
Like McCullers game. It'll always be like, and who knows what the real story around everything is, but that added so much fun to it. The Bryce to Bohm, like what are they saying to each other? This or that? Is it like that was fun? It added an extra. I'm so with you, like a layer to it, and also a layer of gamesmanship and sportsmanship and things that like it's like like doing the. All that you can do within the rules of the sport and being smart within the rules of the sport to gain a massive advantage. It's awesome.
So I don't know if he's tipping pitches. I don't think so. The guy that did the video is talking about location. I mean, on the video, Nola missed his spot by about 2 feet. So I don't know if it's location. I think it's more swipes of hand. Like if you go 1 swipe, that's a fastball. If you go 2 swipes, that's a curveball. If you go 3 swipes, that's a changeup. It's just like, general stuff. But I don't know. It's just, I hope it's tipping pitches because the shame of it all is that, again, he looked brilliant for the first 5 innings of that game, and then it completely fell apart.
And I know the start before this one wasn't great, but the like 2 or 3 starts prior were awesome. One of them was the one where you were like, that's the best Nola we've seen all year.
Best Nola we've seen since 18.
Since 18. And look, also we have seen, remember the famed mechanical adjustment last year. We've seen Nola look horrible and the playoffs start and it's like, oh, look at that. He's awesome. So we know that he is one of those guys who can, kind of go hot and cold quickly like that.
Well, I mean, legitimately his ERA the last, couple of Septembers have been in the 5s. And then he just turns into a pretty good playoff pitcher. He's just, it's as simple as this. You never feel totally confident in him.
Yep.
He's clearly a good pitcher. And he just almost like a ground ball to Trey, although Trey's like kind of heating up in the field. Can we talk about it? Are we not talking about it?
Oh, buddy.
Can we talk about Trey in the field?
It's so funny, too, because he does have moments where it's like he looks as smooth as anyone has ever looked. Like the spin, like he might be the smoothest spin into throw guy I maybe have ever seen. Like he's just like graceful out there. And then another one, he'll just like knock at his body in front of a ball and it'll go right past his glove.
Well, a ground ball to Trey, like a routine ground ball, is more terrifying than
than a ball up the middle that he has to run for. I'm so with you, dude. I'm so with you.
But a Nola start is kind of like a ground ball to Trey, traditional Trey, where it's like I have no idea what I'm gonna get, and you hope for the best.
Yeah, it's almost like if he's gonna get 10 playoff starts, 7 of them will be good. And 3 will be like, I don't know. 1 will probably be bad. 1 will be like, 4 runs in 5 innings. And another will be like 3 runs in 4 innings. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you don't know. You don't know what you're going to get. But I agree with you that, like, I oddly trust him more than I probably should, considering I have no idea what I'm going to get from each time out. It's strange. All right, before we get to take back, let's get back to Harper because I do think we undersold it a bit. Just seeing him, the 2-homer game, obviously, just seeing him actually hit a home run again, it was, really hammered home how long it had been. Now it felt over a month, the whole thing. Did you, first of all, just take us through the Jack Fritz emotions with Bryce actually going yard and then doing it again? And then what do you think it says moving forward? Was it just a day he was feeling it, or do you think, maybe we're kind of coming out the other side and we get Power Bryce back?
Well, so I kind of felt it coming Friday because he swung and missed a couple of times and did not wince in pain. And I was like, oh, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
We need to see that.
Mm-hmm. And he had a low bar.
Yeah, for sure. And then so Saturday. Now, maybe my outside of winning the World Series, like favorite baseball game of all time. I mean, 10 to win 7-10 on Bryce Harper 2 home runs.
Oh yeah, you said that to me and Elliot. Unbelievable. I kept saying, especially when he hadn't homered in over a month to like have.
You gotta have a feel.
Day. to much as have one, to have two is like, it's pretty amazing. Like,
You
it really
just have
was.
to know your guy. You have to know your
it's
guy.
amazing. I've never won. So that win by you is over. Hold on. It's like 6 times more than I've ever won in any bet ever.
Yeah, it was
like
a big
5.5. I might be doing some bad math.
It was a big one. And I was at a family party yesterday because we had to celebrate September birthdays. So
hey,
Jill's
shout out to me.
Of course, as we always do. And Jill's like, "Hey, party starts at 4." I'm like, "Fantastic! Phil start at 4." You know what that means? You know what that means? Guess who's never going to see Uncle Jack? Everyone involved. So
you're used to it.
I would hope so. I try to explain like you should be used to this by now, and they don't. It doesn't seem to get it. You know.
Yeah.
So I'm over there. We go down 4-0, and I was like, I gotta take a walk. Like I gotta. So I went outside and I played with
Composed
Walker.
yourself. Yeah.
Sort of. I mean, fuming per usual.
Yes. Classic.
And then I got the notification that it was like, hold on, Bryce hit a home run. And I was like, well, there's at least $50 in the account. Like, we take that. And then I was like, hold on. It's 4-1 in the 6th.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't over. Okay.
Well, especially because it was Bryce in that moment. I felt like it was like anyone at Homer here, I'd be like 4-1. All right, let's go whittling away or whatever. But the fact that it was Bryce, it was like gave a little extra juice, you know?
Went back in. Jill's cousins. They all took Phil's money line live down 4-0. So that's what we do. We turn into a gambling family.
What we do.
So sat down. You know, everyone was aware that I had Bryce Harper plus 7,000.
That's actually really fun. It's fun when a regular season home run can feel like a World Series home run for an entire room of people. You know,
some would say bigger. I mean, some would say bigger than any World Series home run.
Yeah.
And
Bring it in, big dog. Sometimes the bits go too far.
And he hit it, and so there's probably about 40 people at this party, and he hits it, and I'm like, plus 7,000, like he's freaking out. Everyone in the room is happy. No one else has any idea what's going on.
And it was a no doubter too. Like he hit it. It was like the first one. It was like, wow, is that going to get out? That one, it was like you just got to throw your hands up in the air and feel the victory.
And for a majority of my gambling life, which is going on about 13 years now, I've had to hide it, now, even though it's legal. Like
yes, because
I just like, I don't want to, I don't want them to be worried about Walker going to college.
Are you admitting to illegal activities right here? Is that what's happening?
Oh yeah, every day.
Good. Okay, good. Because it wasn't legal for a while.
Not even close.
And you also were not of age, it would seem, if we do some quick math. So, just saying.
I was live.
I have no liability here. Nothing to do with these comments.
I was live betting Dodgers games in 2013 from my dorm room.
It's amazing.
Because we had the system down where you could bet live on.
You could have just stopped that. So we had this system. Everyone knows where this is going in some reason or another. But go ahead. Yeah.
So we had it down to where the site was slow getting live things going. So
it's like early live bet internet.
Exactly.
Base. Yeah.
So if you were synced up early,
and
you had
could get the advantage. No way. That's insane.
But it was only for one pitch.
Yeah.
So we had an advantage of like, is this going to be a ground out? Is this going to be a pop out? Is this going to be a home run? And the way we lost it, so we were up like,
that's amazing.
We were up like $300 as high school or as college freshmen, which to college freshmen is maybe the biggest deal of all time.
Yeah.
And we got cocky and we put $200 on this Pujols at bat, and Pujols first pitch hit a ball deep but foul. And we put it in home run. And we lost it. We completely lost it. Yeah, it was awful. Like
a ball don't lie situation there.
Exactly. But yeah, he hit it, and I had to like explain to Jill and like everyone involved. I was like, listen, I just won $715 on Bryce hitting two home runs, and they're like, "Wow, it's amazing! Like you're gonna take it all out?" I'm like, "No, obviously not."
No, it just means I can bet more. What are you kidding me? It's great. Now I don't have to feel guilty about betting for a while. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. So I kept saying to Jill, I don't know, I've said plus 7,000 to Jill maybe 7,000 times in the last 24 hours. She doesn't get it.
Dude, my whole goal in life is just to not have to tell Emily I'm depositing money into a gambling account. Like, I just want to win enough to keep not having to put money in. That 710, that's like you're on a long leash. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's big. It's big. Well, and that got, never mind. You got the account to a different stratosphere.
I gotcha. I'm pretty psyched for you. All right.
So the Bryce deal is a big deal. So the analysis.
Let's get to the analysis. Jack before too. I was like, I gotta go. Like, it can't be like super long. Here we are, as always.
People love.
We haven't even gotten to the take bag yet. I know.
People love when you say, I don't want it to be a super long podcast. So, as long as we're rating it.
I don't want it. It's that I have, obligations in life. All right, go ahead. What's up? Talk to me.
No, but Bryce, so, and today as well, like he did not wince today. So that gave me so much hope, dude. I was pretty down in the dumps, like on Friday.
Me too.
Where it's like, I just don't think that power is coming back.
Whenever he had the quote where he was like, you guys might see me put the bat, like that's going to happen. Like you saw that's going to happen. Don't be too alarmed. Whatever. I was like, oh God, that's not good. I don't like that.
But with Bryce, and you and I both said this, so once again, credit to us. Like, you just trust he's going to find some way to figure it out. And it seems like he has. I mean, obviously, everyone knows the numbers since September. Like, he's been money, per usual. But it's like, if you can find the power on top of that heading into October, it's different.
Changes everything.
So, the swing looked good. Swing looked compact. It didn't look like he was having much pain, and that gave me a lot of hope that we're maybe on the back end of whatever injury he's dealing with. But I don't know if that's
huge.
True.
Well, again, look, I mean, the guy did get his wrist shattered by Blake Snell, and came back and figured it out to be a playoff home run beast and hero and all that stuff. So, yeah, to your overall point there, like I do. At my core, I'm nervous. I've been nervous about it. I've been like, it's like we talked about. There are moments where I'm like, oh God, but like deep down, if I'm alone in a room in the dark and I have to ask myself, do I trust that come playoff time, Bryce Harper is going to figure it out and be able to hit the ball at the ballpark? Like I do, and I would have said I did before, So, it's good to see it, but I did trust it. All right, take back. What you got?
So, the name of this fan group is too good not to share.
Oh, good. I love this. Yes.
I don't know if he's the right player to use it on.
Pals? No, God.
No.
Sorry.
No. But after his outing yesterday, I'm prepared to possibly, now this is not for him starting, but maybe as a long reliever, I'm prepared to start a fan group.
Oh, God. Is this a Taiwan thing? Oh, God.
Taiwanimous?
I mean, the name's amazing. Like, obviously, the name is phenomenal. I mean,
an underground movement to belief in Taiwan Walker.
He's better than you think he is. Yep. People aren't talking about him. People aren't talking about it, but he just goes out and gets the job done.
I mean, that's 2 games he's kept the Phils in.
It is the most shocking thing that happened this weekend. Especially the Blue Jays game, he gave up 2 runs. He, quote unquote, kept them in it. Like, sure, he didn't give up more runs. Like, it was 6-4 when he came in, and then it became 8-4. Let's not give him too much credit. This one, though, he was good, man. Like, he got it done. Credit.
So, full disclosure, when Taiwan was coming in, I decided to check out.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Not on this day.
No one's gonna rip you for that. I think that's okay. As the you being the official gatekeeper, I will let you off on that one. I think that's fair.
Thank you. But Taiwanimous is here, and we are monitoring, possibly turn this into a real movement.
Okay,
yeah,
it's good.
Taiwanimous.
I like this. Yes, it's good.
Thank you.
The name is great.
Thank you.
I think it'll probably stop there, but it's great. Go ahead.
So this is secondary, but The Buddy Kennedy moment today was unbelievable, and
Super
I'm so
cool.
I'm so in on the Buddy chants and the Cody chants, and like envisioning that in October is like enough to start welling up about. Like it's beautiful, but
Well, Buddy won't be on the playoff roster. Right?
maybe don't let him heat up. I don't know how to explain this. I don't know how to explain this to people, but like Buddy Kennedy is the most from here.
Me. Yeah.
No, like the most from here looking baseball player I think I've ever.
Oh my God. Yes, totally, dude. Totally. He absolutely looks like he should be outside on the sidewalk and not on the field. No doubt.
Dude, Buddy Kennedy should be playing in the Westchester Adult League. Like I
mean, even his name too, Buddy Kennedy. Like it's like the whole package.
I've played against like I have to have played against like a million Buddy Kennedys. Like I don't know how to explain it, but he just looks like a local baseball player. And of all the players that have ever played for the Phillies, if I had him lined up, I'd be like, that guy's local. There's something about him. I don't know what it is, but Buddy Kennedy is the most hashtag from here, like Philly I've ever seen in my entire life.
I think it's a fantastic take. I have no notes. 10 out of 10.
I need to explain for people because I think there's a lot of people who don't understand when you or I start talking about Joe in the Northeast. So I want to explain.
Oh, yeah. So how about think about it this way? I was thinking about I saw 15 tweets from WIP personalities. Imagine all the followers on Twitter who have no idea what the hell. Joe from Northeast, definitely not on Twitter. So go ahead.
So Joe in the Northeast is a caller. Now I have met him once. I've met Joe in the Northeast once. And in our interaction, while he was wearing a City Connect Taiwan Walker jersey,
Love
which
it.
is an interesting choice, given that this is the first year of the City Connect. So he willfully said,
yeah, after last year. That's a good point. Yeah.
Give me Taiwan Walker. Maybe me and Joe in the Northeast can have our fan group Taiwan in this, and we can put it together. Our two brains together create a great bit. So Joe in the Northeast is a caller who I've met once in a Taiwan Walker City Connect jersey who told me that Cal Stevenson should be hitting leadoff over Kyle Schwarber.
And then called every WIP show for weeks saying they gotta bring up Cal Stevenson. They gotta put Cal Stevenson in the line. This kid's great. I saw him in Lehigh. He's great. No caller has ever had a more unique, specific passion project that they have been so aggressively on point about calling about. Just weeks of Cal Stevenson calls. It's unbelievable.
Weeks of it. And I know not everyone listens to WIP that listens to this podcast. It's remarkable. The guy called every day, multiple shows, saying start, and we
with
all
no other point. No other point. He had nothing else to say. At one point, I'd be like, Joe, you got to talk about something other than Cal Stevenson. You can't just call about Cal Stevenson.
Yeah, but he was mocked. He was ridiculed, and I just want to give a nice shout out to Joe in the Northeast. Congratulations, this is a big win for you. And there's just something about throwing a slider down and into Buddy Kennedy. He's not going to miss it. He'll just hook it into the right field, hook it down the right field line, and he'll run for days. But big game Cal, yesterday the Cal Stevenson game, remarkable. I don't know where he's going to be. If he's going to be in the playoff roster, probably not. Maybe it comes down to him and Cody. And Cody for a playoff spot.
It's got to be Cody. Yeah.
I would go Cody.
I don't think Cal or Buddy will be on the playoff roster, but I enjoy them. But you know what, though? Can we shout out the, small ball crew? Back-to-back days with big bunts to move runners over that played a role in winning baseball games? No big deal. Marsh, he actually got one down. Just saying.
I know. I was gonna. That was my.
You won't hear this when people calling in and saying "Oh, I can't win. Gotta play small ball." Okay, just saying.
When Rojas got the bunt down, they didn't score after, but it's okay. He got the bunt down.
I know. Wait, the Rojas bunt didn't lead to run. No. You're right. No, because they scored on the double before. Yeah, you're right.
Grounded out.
Regardless, it could have. Yeah, it gave an opportunity, and both almost beat him out too. Both Rojas and Marsh almost beat those plays out. The Rojas bunt was a great bunt.
It was. Shout out to him. And Marsh.
Yeah, for a guy we've ripped for it, especially him. Yeah. Marsh, I'm excited he got one down, but I'm not surprised he's not a good bunter. But Rojas, we were dude, you got to learn to bunt. And credit.
I want to point out this, and final thing here. I want to point out this Bryce quote because I find it so funny. I guess Bryce Harper before the game was asked who should be the MVP between Ohtani and Lindor. And Bryce said, "I'm so sorry. I haven't been paying attention. I'm a father of 3."
Oh, yes! What a great quote. That's a great quote. He's right. I'm a father of 1 and I can barely pay attention to stuff. He's right. It's a great point.
It's just so funny. It's like, first off, you definitely are aware. Like Bryce is like a cerebral.
We all know Bryce. Of all the players in baseball, he'd be in like the top 0.01% of players who are aware. What he should have said, the best answer would have been, who do you think should win, Ohtani or Lindor? Bobby Witt.
Yeah.
That would have been like really on top of stuff. Yeah.
Dude, I appreciate the season Lindor's having. Ohtani is about to put up a 50-50.
It's so dumb. Like, can we stop it? I don't care if he plays defense or not. Like, he's got 48 stolen bases and 47 home runs or whatever. Like, what are we doing here?
He's about to put a 50-50.
And
it's 50-50.
This is crazy. This is crazy. I'm so with you, dude. Like, it's nonsense. Bobby Witt has a much better argument to win the AL MVP over Aaron Judge, which people have kind of just given to Judge, than Lindor does against Ohtani, in my opinion.
Either way, it's an unbelievable quote from Bryce. An unbelievable quote.
So good. Bryce. I'm a father of 3. I might just start using that. Like, I don't know, man. I'm a father of 1. I'm sorry.
Not locked in. Not locked in.
No.
But
I got a kid, man.
What a comeback. What a win. Back-to-back games with the comeback. And you're starting to see the resiliency. And they took 2 or 3 from the Mets. I didn't think they were going to take 2 or 3. I chalked it up for 1 of 3.
Me too. Big time. 100%. Especially after Friday night. I was like, oh.
I was ready to spin it. I was ready to spin it. They are 7 games up in the division. It's not a disaster. But they came through. They did their thing. And we're starting to see that little Phil's magic coming back right in the right time.
And update, Brewers down 2-0 to the Diamondbacks in the second inning or end of the second. So, and then the Brewers tomorrow. Brewers come to town. So, big.
No, they're in Milwaukee. They're in Milwaukee.
Oh, sorry. They go to Milwaukee. Excuse me. Yes, the Phillies go to Milwaukee and then to New York. Correct. But yeah, Phillies can. They just need to win one of them to win the tiebreaker 2. Not, they're looking good against Brewers, but if they just win one, they have. They're in. It's pretty exciting, to your point, to wrap it all the way back around, where it's great to see that they bounce back, and I'm proud of them, and it's awesome to like feel this way about them again. But it's also nice to just talk about these standing things where, at one point in the season, we like took these things as for granted, that they'll definitely at least be a top 2 seed, whatever, and to have sweated it out at times here to kind of be sitting here now with 11 games left or whatever it is, 12 games, whatever. 13, whatever, somewhere in there. But to kind of be here and feel this good about the situation they're in from a standings perspective, it's like a breath of fresh air after the Andy Dufresne like climb through a tunnel, so to speak.
Well, going from it's been a total mind adjustment. Like the stress of still having to go for the 1 or 2 seed.
Totally,
it's been weird. I'm so used to just making sure they're
getting
in
the playoffs. Yep, totally.
They're
not even looking at the division, just like being like, all right, like, oh, we're 4 games up on the Brewers. Cool, we're good. Whatever, and that's it. Yep, totally.
Pretty remarkable. They're going to win their first division in
since 11,
12
13
seasons?
years. Yeah, 13 years.
Yeah,
it's insane, dude. It's nuts. Yeah. It's great.
And it's so funny because this has been the year where it feels like people have been the most. It feels like this has been the year that people have been the most mad too, which is funny.
Yeah, because they were expectations, but they actually lived up to them. They just had a little lull. It's baseball.
And they hit 90 today. Yeah, 90 wins.
They hit 90. Yeah, so, hey, we won a bet today. Nice.
Oh, man. What $10?
Yes. No, I actually think I might have put like 20 on it. I went crazy for it. That was crazy. I might have even put more on it. So, it's good stuff, Jack.
Yeah. And then final thing, I want to make sure.
It's like your 3rd or 4th final thing, I think. So just
I know.
Noting that, like marking that.
I want to make sure I was right. Okay, yeah. So Bryce officially passed Rhys Hoskins in home runs this weekend.
Wow, that's pretty wild. Yeah, I saw that it was his. He finally passed his number in Washington. So now Citizens Bank is the park he's hit the most home runs in. So
well, and it's like. Like he'd been sitting on that nugget for a month and a half. It felt
exactly. Yes, totally.
Yeah. So, it's big stuff, and thank God.
Thank God. Well said. All right, we'll be back after the Brewers series. This is nice. It's gonna be weird. We're gonna have to, have a little layoff most likely. Before this is gonna be interesting. It's new things for us, Jack. Maybe it'll work out this time. Please, just
maybe.
Oh God, I want a World Series so bad. All right, we'll be back later in the week. Thanks to Tucker. Fired up, doing a great job producing the pod. I don't thank you enough, Tucker. Great job. All right, thank you to everyone who listened. We'll talk to you guys soon. Until then, go Phils. He's Fritz and Seltzer.
Will Tucker on the podcast.
Yeah, his computer froze. That's good.
Wow.
It's so funny. I was like, I never give
Tucker any